In Chapter 11 of Oliver Twist, Oliver is locked in a dismal cell at the police station and soon has to appear before the police magistrate, Mr. Fang. The gentleman whose handkerchief was stolen identifies himself as Mr. Brownlow and says he isn't sure Oliver was the thief. He's actually concerned that Oliver is gravely ill. It's important to note that a theme that runs not just through Oliver Twist, but was actually a commonly held belief in the 19th century, occurs here. Characters being innocent or guilty, being good or evil, it's something you can read in their faces. And young Oliver has a very sweet and innocent face. Oliver is, in fact, so ill that he cannot answer any questions and soon passes out. Also, there's something in Oliver's face that Mr. Brownlow recognizes, but he just can't put his finger on it. In the courtroom, Mr. Fang sentences Oliver to 3 months hard labor. As Oliver is being carried from the room, the bookstall keeper rushes in and testifies that Oliver's companions were the thieves, and that Oliver himself was perfectly amazed and stupefied to see what they did. Mr. Fang abruptly voids his previous decision and releases Oliver. When Mr. Brownlow and the bookseller leave the station, they find Oliver laying in the street, feverish, sweating, and shivering. Mr. Brownlow calls for a coach, and Oliver is hurried away. In Chapter 12 of Oliver Twist, for the first time in his life, Oliver wakes up in a clean, soft bed. He is attended by Mrs. Bedwin, who is Mr. Brownlow's housekeeper. Oliver is in Mr. Brownlow's house. He's feverish and delirious, but he recovers. 3 days later, Oliver is strong enough to be taken downstairs, where he is fascinated by a portrait of a young woman with a beautiful, mild face. The way the eyes seem to look at him makes my heart beat as if it was alive and wanted to speak to me, but couldn't. Mr. Brownlow looks at Oliver and then at the portrait, and he realizes that the boy's features and expression are the same as those of the young woman. In the previous chapter, he thought he'd recognized Oliver somewhere. Oliver is so startled by Mr. Brownlow's excited realization that he faints. Meanwhile, after escaping with Mr. Brownlow's handkerchief, Jack Dawkins and Charlie Bates return to the lair of the obnoxious anti-Semitic stereotype, Fagin. Charlie finds the whole thing uproariously funny, especially how they chased Oliver crying, "Stop, thief!" But Jack nervously asks, "What'll Fagin say?"